here, here, no, here, here, and here. Because I'm sick. Chloroplast is bowing. That's the trick of the day right there. Oh, that baby's on there. Okay, right here, here. Why do I need 3 RV sewer hose storage tubes? Because I'm sick, that's why. We have been staying at a lot of private campgrounds with full hookups, and sometimes the hookups are really far away from where your RV connection is. So we've been in a couple of situations where we needed 30 feet of hose and we only had 20 feet of hose. So today I'm going to show how I added an extra sewer hose storage tube in addition to the one that came with the RV and my super duper RV DIY one, which I'll leave a link right up here. In this video, I'm going to show you how I installed a Valterra sewer hose storage tube to the frame of my Grand Design Reflection fifth wheel. I ordered the tube here from Amazon, and it comes this size, and it comes in a box this big. It expands. It's basically 2 tubes that one goes inside the other, but there's a maximum extension marking right here. Let's measure from end to end what the maximum length is. Looks like the maximum length is 94 inches, which means if it's bracket to bracket, it would be probably looking at 92 inches of frame to frame. Now my frame is 71 inches, edge to the outside of the edge of the outside, so mine's gonna be significantly smaller. I'm gonna be more like, I'm gonna be about that big right there, which leaves a lot of overlap. So mine will be approximately right there. That's a lot of overlap, so it'll be nice and strong. Now I'm mounting mine on the frame mounts, this directly to the frame. Now what the kit comes with is 3 of these frame mounts. This one kind of wraps all the way around it like that, and then you put these bands around it. Now the reason you'd use this, if you wanted the tube to stick out from the frame, let's say the frame mounts here, frame is right here, you want to stick out and get a little bit more length, that you could do that. You could put a frame mount here, mount that there, and do the same thing on the other edge, put that there. You could have it sticking out several inches off the end like I have on one side. If you really wanted to maximize your length, what you do is you'd use these mounts. These can actually be glued right to the pipe using PVC cement, and then you wrap this pipe clamp around that and it will fix it tight. This type gets cemented right onto the pipe, and it really looks like it fits just on the small one. Or you could use this type of clamp, which is kind of a half clamp, and that goes on, and then you put this through. You put your clamp in there like that, and then you tighten it up, get it snug, and then you can slide it to where you want it exactly, and then it would be mounted like that. So I'd use this end mounted to the frame down there, and then this end would be mounted to the frame, and then you would have this much sticking out depending on where you wanted it to stick out. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do. I think it's more secure if I'm just going to screw it to here. If you needed to, you could definitely use this method and put the extra clamp on there. You can see in the one that's already installed, one end is connected directly from here right to the frame without an extension. You can see with my extension, it sticks out probably 8 or 10 inches. Okay, now you can see on the other side, it sticks out about 8 inches, both my tube. So my tube's extra long because it sticks out on both sides. But this one only sticks out on one side, just so I could show both ways. So I'm going to attach one end directly mounted to the frame, and I'm attach the other end just like this one with the mount like that. Okay, so that's how I'm going to mount it. I want an extra 9 inches. I'm going to put that there. Keep these 2 flat, so these are the same, straight. I'm going to tighten this up. So now this length is going to be different. It's going to come out 8 inches from there. So now I got to measure from here. Edge to edge would be 71. So because I moved it out, I'm going to make this mark here so I know I'm in the right place. So now I got this much overlap. There's the maximum extension right here, and I've got a lot of extra length there. So that's where mine's going to end up. This will be on one side of the I-beam, and this will be on the other side of the I-beam. It'll have a little bit of overlap, similar as to the other side. I have to use these self-drilling screws. It does not fit in the 3/8. Fits in the 10 millimeter. But I'm using an impact rated extension, so everything's impact rated, and I'm going to spin that in there and screw that in there. Basically, the tip is very sharp. It screws through the metal. It takes a lot of pressure. You got about 20 or 30 seconds of pushing super hard and trying to keep it straight. So that's not going to be easy, especially since I have a problem with my right elbow. And I'm trying not to use that, so I'm gonna have to do this left-handed, which is gonna be tough. Okay, I'm gonna use 4 of these clamps. Basically, I will line up this on the frame, then I'll take a clamp. I can't even use my right arm for that. I'll take a clamp and clamp this to the frame. It'll clamp on there, hold it in place, and that way I can hold it while I drill the other side. And I'll have 4 of these clamps on there, and I'll pull one off at a time to screw them in. And then we'll put the screws in. Okay, so here's my DIY tube, which sticks out about 8 inches. On this end, it doesn't stick out. And I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. I'm gonna make it so it does not stick out on this end. I'm gonna basically put it right up here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one of my little clamps here. So I'm just gonna line it up. I'm gonna want those screws to go right through, kind of like I did on that side. We're gonna screw that right in there, clamp that on there like that. If I didn't have these, I'd use a C-clamp or a quick clamp or something. So that'll hold that into place. And I want to line that right up at the edge of the tube. Okay, so we got that lined up pretty good. I'm gonna go put the other clamps on. Basically, I want to come right into the middle of this. You see how the ones over here, I came a little too close to the I-beam. I don't want that. I want to come in more of this side. So those are too far that way. I want these to be right in the middle, right here. Right in that beefy part. So I think if I line the plastic right up to the edge, but you could see when they did the factory one, they did it to the inside of the I-beam, not the outside. I'd rather do the outside of the I-beam where I can see the screw coming through. Allie, can you do me a favor? At least once in each DIY project, I gotta ask Alice to come outside and help me. Thanks, son. You're a champ. Okay, that saved me from having to climb out and do this, but I got another couple clamps here. Okay, so this is where the trick is. So no, I could mount it just like that, but if I want a little extra extension, I'm gonna bring it out here like this, and I got my little clamp in here, and that's not super tight right now. It's on there pretty good, but I'm gonna clamp it like that. So now it's almost exactly even with these ones on this side. I'm gonna take my clamp. Okay, got one clamp on there. Let's see how hard this one is to do. Oh, there we go, use both hands. But you see, like, I gotta make sure I push that back far enough so that the hole lines up and it goes, that this clamp is lined up at the edge of the frame so that a hole will go in there nice and strong. Just like they did on this side. See how they did on this side? This one's perfect. They did it on the outside here and they did it right through the middle. But it looks like if you line up this, if you line it right up at the edge, it does good. See, all these ones are good. So all these should stick out just like those. It looks like they use some small screws here. I don't like that. I'm gonna do this first screw first. So I'm gonna take this clamp off. I'm gonna line this up right with the edge right there. So the question is, am I gonna use an extension? Will an extension help? I'm gonna use my knee to provide pressure because my arm is messed up. And this looks like it's gonna come straight up through there. So that looks good. So I got it lined up. I'm gonna start slow, make a... The real trick is using an extension in the knee because I got all my pressure from my leg. I didn't have to hardly use my hand at all. That was awesome. Okay, that's the trick of the day right there. I'm gonna put my screw here. Here's my self-drilling screw. I'm gonna put that in there. See, I'm using my knee here. I wanna make sure that coroplast is, see the coroplast? Make sure it's just a little bit. That's on there nice and tight right now. Oh, that baby's on there. Okay. The length is good. I'm a little bit worried about the slide coming in. We're gonna have to test the slide when I'm done to make sure that the slide clears. We got this lined up here. I'm gonna take this clamp off. So I want this plastic edge right up, edge perfectly set up with the frame right there. And I'm gonna put this screw in here. Load my screw here. It came with some extras. There's a little leeway in this slot. It's kind of a slot. So I'm actually gonna cheat a little bit to the back side. Basically what I'm doing is kind of pulling my knee in like this. And that's putting upward pressure on that. And let's do the other one. Get it lined up. We're going right through the middle. I am telling you, that helps so much to have that knee in there. Coroplast is squeezed like it is on this side. Good. Okay, that baby ain't going nowhere. I didn't interfere with the operation of this door or anything like that on this side. This is the one that comes on a lot of RVs. I think it's made by Rec Pro, but the type that has these little doors. The problem is these doors, these little handles break off and these hinge parts break off all the time, so you have to replace them. It sucks. So I wanted to try this type. This is the Valterra one. Goes on a little differently. When it goes in, it goes between these two marks right here. And this goes to here. That way I know that's how it goes in, and then it turns like this and locks. I wonder if it can turn the other way too. No, it can't. So I'm not sure what this one's for. But basically I turn like that and then pop it out. Put it back in. I'm gonna line up my little mark here. Line it up like that, pop it in. So it says open. This, of course they didn't write it where you can see it. Open is that way. Open. And then close is that way. Okay, I got you. So now I close like that and it's nice and locked, and you put a little padlock or a zip tie or something like that in there. And that baby is on there. Okay, I'm gonna do the same markings on this side. Now you know that goes between there to start. Goes over here to lock. Good. I don't like it the way it kind of hangs in the way there though. I don't like that. I like that. How many hose have I got in here? I've got a pretty good sized hose here. Okay, so this one goes in here like that. And it takes a pretty good sized hose. Now what a lot of people don't know is that you can also put your elbows fit in here. Put the elbow, put a whole elbow in there like that. I like to put the cap in. It makes it easier to grab so you don't have to stick your fingers inside. And then also the 4-in-1 adapter also fits in there. Nice and easy. Just put that back on there like that. I line up my little marks. It goes on easier on this side because I think what happened is when I put the screws in on the other side, it pinched the plastic a little bit and makes the other one so up. A good thing is this side is the side that's easy to open, which is good. Now I definitely would have preferred to have my sewer tube hooked either right here beside my sewer outlet, either on this side or this side, but there's two problems. One, on this side, that my propane line is going along the frame there, so I couldn't do it there. I had to do it on this side, right here. This would be a perfect place, right? But the problem was, see how the coroplast is bowing? There's probably tanks or something that actually go below the frame. The storage tube would not go straight across. Something very firm is there. It's not just like the coroplast bagging. Something is below the frame there, so I couldn't put it there. That would have been awesome to have my sewer hose storage tube right here, especially for quick dump station stops where you're just pulling the hose out for 2 seconds. You need one section of hose, you need one connector, boom, boom, boom. But now I'm gonna have to go back and forth to back because there's no way to put it up here. So depending on your RV, you may be able to, look around for different spots where you can put it. Now we've only had this RV for about 6 months. And when we started off for our summer trip and ended up in Portland, Oregon, we rarely stay at campgrounds that have full hookups where you need some sewer tube. But when we got back to Florida, we're gonna be spending months in one place at a time. We're definitely using full hookups. In one of the spots we got, I'm able to keep 2 10-foot sections and a 3-foot section. So 23 feet of hose in my DIY tube and then the tube that came with it. Now our Solitude, in addition to having my DIY tube and the tube that comes with most RVs, it also had the bumper. But this RV doesn't have a bumper, so I couldn't store an extra hose in the bumper. So I had to give up a hose when we took off. But now we're back here in Florida. We're doing a lot of long stay, like 1 month at a time at full hookup campgrounds. I needed another section of hose. So I needed 30 feet of hose and be able to store all my connectors. This is why I am adding the 3rd storage tube. So I got my DIY tube, I've got the storage tube that came with the RV, and then I've got a similar one. Now the one that came with the RV is a different brand. It's the Rec Pro one you'll see on Amazon. My DIY is a 5-inch fence tubing. I'll point a link to a video right up here about how I installed that. And then the one I'm using today is the Valterra one, and the cap's going a little differently. I just wanted to try something different. The other thing is that you can expand or contract the tube to accommodate pretty much any RV out there if you have access to the I-beam. So it's where the frame comes down and it comes into an eye and you're screwing into a side of the I-beam. As long as you have access to that, you could screw one of these sewer hose storage tubes. The reason I have the DIY version is this 5-inch tube. It can store much larger accessories that will not fit into a regular storage tube because I've got some big pieces. So now I can have 3 collapsible 10-foot sections and then all my accessories in these 3 storage tubes. One thing I realized when I go to put these hoses away, that this type of collapsible tube is it very tightly collapses into a very small space. Whereas these other tubes, these orange and black ones, just are super durable, super rugged. They don't collapse in nearly as small of a space in the storage tube, and putting them away, putting these dark ones away a lot easier, because when you collapse them, they stay collapsed. But these ones don't. They want to expand. I mean, when you push them into the tube, they'll collapse, but they want to expand on their own. So that's the, you're gonna have to choose which one you want, durable or do you want like super highly collapsible. I have both, but if I had to do it over again, I'd probably just get a lot of the super collapsible ones and then replace them when I need to. How much sewer hose do you keep with you in your RV? We had 20 feet and now we have 30 feet, which should be plenty. But most RVs just come with one storage tube, which is really just 10 feet. Now, if you get a collapsible tube, you can maybe squeeze 20 feet into there. We always think we'd rather be able to put the RV exactly where we want it on a RV pad and not have to move the RV so it has to be close to the sewer. If you have an extra storage tube and an extra sewer hose, that really helps. The other thing is I don't like to put anything that's dirty. None of my dirty sewer stuff goes anywhere in the RV or the back of the truck. Everything I have that gets dirty and nasty stays in one of my sewer hose tubes. Have you got a different way of storing your sewer hose on your RV? Please leave your experience and your knowledge down in the comments section below. I'm also going to have a link to my DIY storage hose tube right over here for you to check out. And remember, downsizing does make sense.